Chapter 7. Acid Fluid. Chapter 7. Acid Worm. After buying things, there were only a few thousand powers of faith left on hand, and he couldn't afford any good things. So Xu Luo chose to return to his own god's domain from the main city of God's domain. At this time, in the god's domain, hundreds of thousands of mayflies are working hard, collecting evolution points all the time, but they are too small to be seen by the naked eye. And Xu Luo can only sense them. As for the other Zerg, there are only two types now, and they are basically hidden underground. Zergs like dark and humid environments the most. This is also the reason why he wants to build a worm nest, which can enhance the speed of Zerg evolution. Compared with when he came in the morning, Xu Luo obviously felt that the entire god's domain was a little smaller. It was obviously a masterpiece of mayflies, and there were a lot of eggs in reserve. He is not busy hatching, and now hatching just increases his feeding burden. Thinking of the acid pool landform card he had just bought, he chose an area on the edge of God's domain, and Xu Luo chose to use it. Landform card originally sealed a landform in it, and after choosing to use it, it is equivalent to lifting the seal. Suddenly, a dazzling light flickered. An area of more than 10 square kilometers collapsed directly. After a burst of roaring, a pungent smell appeared, and then some green liquid appeared in the collapsed pit, which was continuously filled. This is a huge acid pool, the report of acidic substances. Basically not many organisms can survive here. Shen Yu obtained an acid pool. The acid pool can provide special acid, which can be combined with explosive bugs to form a new Zerg, acid bug. Is this a new species? Xu Luo was curious, because explosive bugs are consumables, so he didn't choose them before, but he didn't expect that the new direction of evolution was actually explosive bugs. Acid bug. Explosive bug plus acid, corrodes a certain area after the explosion, bronze level 6. It turned out to be a bronze level 6 Zerg. Xu Luo was pleasantly surprised, the 6th level bronze explosion. It should be very powerful. And because there is an acid pool, the acid worm does not need additional evolutionary expenditure, only one explosive worm is enough. Put the eggs in the acid pool. Choose the evolution direction to be the explosive worm, and then hatch when it comes out and automatically absorbs the acid. It can evolve into an acid worm. Moreover, the acid worm does not need to be fed, and it directly feeds on the acid, which is very convenient. Generally speaking, species cannot evolve autonomously. They need the help of gods to load them with other evolutionary templates, or consume a lot of power of faith to upgrade their bloodlines. Otherwise, they will be what they are at the beginning. But you can improve your strength and slowly increase your level. Because there is no feeding pressure for acid worms, Xu Luo threw all the 1,000 worm eggs into the acid pool, spent 1,000 evolution points, chose the direction of explosive worms, and waited for them to hatch naturally. This speed is very fast. After 1,000 worm eggs use the evolution point, they will soon break out of their shells, and then begin to absorb the acidic substances in the acid pool. In about a minute, the evolution of these acid worms is complete. The reptile at the beginning was the size of a head. After it evolved into an explosive worm, it was about the size of a fist. Now it has become an acid worm, and its size has grown further. It is about half the length of an arm and about the size of a wash basin. Acid bug. Bronze level 6. Skill. Acid jet, explosion. Crazy believer, 6 per day. After evolution, acid worms are completely different, and the power of faith they provide is much more than that of ordinary bronze first order. It can provide 6 points of power of faith a day, and 1,000 is 6,000 points. Adding the original ones becomes gained 7,000 points of power of faith. Moreover, Xu Luo developed that the acid worm is not completely incapable of fighting. It can spray strong acid 10 times before it will explode itself. After the explosion, it will use strong acid to corrode the surrounding area. The follow-up damage is pretty good. Just seeing that the originally full acid pool suddenly decreased by 1/5, Xu Luo also knew that he might not be able to make acid worms unscrupulously, thinking that now I have a bronze 6th level acid worm, and more than 9,000 bouncing worms and armor worms. Xu Luo also has a certain degree of confidence in the monthly exam for freshmen in a month. The main purpose of the school's once-a-month monthly exam is to check the development status of the students in God's domain. At the same time, it is also to select elite students for special care in the next month. Of course, those who fall back may also be kicked out of the elite class. Because of xianxia, he offended Zhao Yiming, the dean of teaching. He was afraid that he would be given special care in the future. Xu Luo was naturally not so indifferent on the surface. Now that his strength has been improved, he finally has a certain degree of self-confidence. Compared with others, Xu Luo's biggest advantage is that he doesn't need special feeding. Species are not so easy to feed. For example, species of Lepidoptera, such as tigers, lions, eagles, etc., need to eat meat, and goblins also need to eat some meat and other food. Elves need to drink flower dew and eat fruits, while balrogs only live in lava areas, and each has different requirements. It is for the living environment, or for food, etc., but the Zerg does not need it. The Zerg only needs to use the evolution point, and the evolution point can be obtained by decomposing all materials, and there is no need to collect a specific thing. Of course, feeding is only second, and the more important thing is to get more gene templates, so that the strength of the Zerg will become stronger and stronger. Xu Luo already knew that he couldn't develop as honestly as a farming player. He would only become an invader and take the road of robbery, so the stronger the strength of his subordinates, the better. Although according to the current speed, Xu Luo can get 7,000 power of faith in each game time, and 70,000 in a real day, even if Xu Luo is honest and honest. Ignite the divine fire to become a real god. But such a has no power under his hands, no kingdom of God, no priesthood, and no use at all. Naturally, it is impossible for him to become a in that way. Already have a master system, and with Zerg that can evolve continuously, he naturally has to accumulate enough power before choosing to become a god. Becoming a from the beginning is just being bullied by those old gods. It's better to accumulate more strength in the novice god's domain, and choose to plunder those old gods after going out. End of this chapter. More game novels. 1. Fellow Taoists,